to be a new episode of Jobs in Germany podcast. And in this episode, I have Karthik with me, who has been working in different kind of sectors, has switched so many different kind of companies. Well, not to say anything in a negative way, but he has had a lot of work experience. And he came from India, and he came for a job seeker visa, and afterwards was able to find a job directly in Germany. Karthik, introduce yourself a bit, tell us a bit about your story, and then we jump into the questions.
But thank you so much for having me here in the first place. I'm super happy to be sharing my experience. My name is Karthik and I come from Bangalore. So I came to Germany last year in the month of February. Before that, I have an experience of about 6 years, excluding my internship. My experience before coming to Germany was in an MNC, which was for financial services in USA. I made the decision to move to Germany and try out my how the life is, to experience life here in Germany in a developed country, to say. And it has been pretty much a roller coaster ride for me, and I must say it turned out well in the end for me.
Okay, that sounds nice. So Karthik, what kind of study did you do in India? What were you then started working as? And then what was the time when you decided, okay, now is the time, I think I have to make the move to go abroad?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's in 2012. And then after that, I started working. And along that, on a distance mode, I started working on my master's in commerce as well. So I got my master's degree in 2015. To make the decision to move to Germany was not very, in the beginning, it was more of popular choices like moving to Canada or Australia or USA, because many of my friends who took up science have ended up in USA mostly. And there was this fascination for me as well to experience a better life in a developed country. And the financial situation was not as such that I could come here for studying. And after marriage also, it was not making sense for us, because we were not dependent on our parents for financially, and then we did not have enough reserves for making it in USA or Canada or Australia, because it was too expensive for us. And one of my cousin who was planning to come to Germany for his mechanical engineering told me about this job seeker visa and about your channel, because he was inspired by your channel, and he has applied and he's already completing his mechanical engineering in Freiburg. So that's when I got the idea of moving to Germany. This is the story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And was it also something about on the work side of things? Were you happy with how things were in India, or were you already looking for some kind of move? And what were the reasons for your move? Because many people so here's the thing, many times you walk in life and there are so many different things happening to you, but you never realize those things are happening to you until somebody else comes in and points out, hey, this is happening and you need to come and recognize this. Was there something like that in work that you were facing?
On the work side, I think I was happy because I had a lovely manager. I had a good job in my hand, which was very interesting. I was a financial analyst back then as well. And I had these multiple clients who were of different industries. And I was dealing with a lot of things which gave me a lot of learning experience as well. But when for a honeymoon, we traveled to Budapest, because that was the most cheapest option in Europe we could find at that point of time. And then we realized how a country like that could be so nice to live. The air is clean, everything is organized. And then it started hitting us very hard as to how our life back in India is and how different the culture is. And that's when the real realization happened, and we started thinking of making a move to a more developed country.
Also, tell me a bit about how was the entire process of finding a job now directly from India in Germany?
Well, when my cousin told me about the job seeker visa, I directly went into LinkedIn and started looking for jobs. And there were at that point of time about 20 to 30 new job posts that were happening every day, and that helped me. That kind of gave me motivation and inspired me and gave me a sense that there is a good chance for me to land a job here. And when I came to Germany in February, that was the beginning of the pandemic. And well, to answer your question before that about the job seeker visa, even before going to the visa office, we kind of have to convince the visa officer that we are qualified enough and there are enough jobs for us to come to Germany, right? So I had about 150 emails that said that my application was being considered and I was being shortlisted for a round of interview. And those were the number of applications I took to the visa office. And I had a lot of confidence that I could land a job really in a couple of months, say 1 or 2 months when I come to Germany. But the thing is that I just had A1 fluency, and that was not enough in the beginning to say. But there were a lot of English-speaking jobs especially in Berlin, because there are many startups that the culture is changing a bit there. That more of English-speaking jobs are appearing, but the pandemic hit, and then almost there was no job posts at all, and all of my interviews that were scheduled got cancelled as well, and it was a complete mess for me. And then I was thinking like, oh shit, I should have learned German, because I was relying on this 10% of English-speaking jobs and leaving out on the 90% that, of course, was asking for a German language fluency. But nevertheless, in the end, I found a job in Trivago after 5 months. Yeah, so it was a bit of a journey for me.
And so so you essentially like got the job like after you came to Germany, and then like you were looking for it.
Yes, that's right.
And did you see a difference in like the kind of responses you were getting from India versus in Germany? Like I personally don't think like there should be a big difference, but like what was your experience?
Well, the major difference is that I got a lot of email responses for my applications. If I applied for a couple of hundred jobs, then at least 60 to 70 of them would reply to me. But in India, that was not the case. I would get an automatic email, but then nothing happens after that. Because I think it makes more sense for the employers to personally see the person to be available in Germany rather than from India. I think that's the reason.
Yeah, I think like the paperwork and everything is easy, and like many employers, they're also like kind of more skeptical like how the entire visa process is going to work out and things like that. So I think like even though it's stupid, like they kind of like prefer like when you're already in Germany.
Yes, I mean the bureaucratic process of German visa is hectic as well. I mean it takes a lot of time, so I kind of understand. I kind of understand why the employers want that.
Yeah. So when you came to Germany, so of course, like you registered yourself, like did you find a short-term rental, long-term rental? Like how did it work for you?
Well, on Facebook, one of the group, I had posted that I am coming to Germany and I need a space. And one of the guy had replied to me that his apartment, his room is available for sharing. And I was staying with him for like 3 to 4 months. And initially I started searching on WG. And I had a couple of bad experiences there, because most of them try to spam you when they know that you're new to a country. So I had a couple of emails asking for money before in hand, and then I realized that it's a trap. And one instance so happened that I searched for the person in Facebook, and I pinged him that hey, we spoke over email, and he said I don't know, that's not me at all. It was a bit scary for me in the beginning, and it's good that Facebook is one platform that can help a lot of people like us to join hands.
Absolutely. I think the accommodation scams and stuff, like this is like still like pretty bad in Germany. Like this is something that everybody has to watch out for when you're coming to Germany for sure. So
Yeah.
you essentially like, were you able to like register yourself in Germany? Like you went to the Rathaus?
Yes. I went along with my roommate, and he already had um, the permit from his landlord, and I took that with me for the citizen registration.
Okay, okay, perfect. So afterwards, like I know also like your wife Smita, like she has her own YouTube channel, and that's also like very cool.
Yes.
So how was she able to like join you then in Germany?
It was a bit of time. I think she came to here in October. Because of the pandemic, the visa office is closed, and it was not working for some time. And then she came here in the month of October. I mean, it was stressful for her because she has already left the job there, and there was absolutely no hope for some time. But she is here now, and then I was lucky that it was the last flight for a couple of months after October that she came here. And when she was here, she wanted to change the job because she was an animator before, and she wanted to move to cooking side, and that's why she started her YouTube channel here. And she's also giving a couple of interviews in some restaurants now that we are vaccinated and it feels much safer. She's trying out her luck in the restaurants as well.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good. Now you also told me that you shifted jobs now. So how did that work out, Karthik? Like because many people are scared, like if you come to Germany, can you like shift jobs and stuff? How was that for you?
I mean, it becomes really important in Germany to have a good network, good amount of connections, and I think that helped me a lot. One of my friends referred me into this role, um, and even before that, I was trying to search for jobs on LinkedIn, on Stepstone.de, and Zing as well. But I think referral is one option that helps a lot. I think employers also kind of prefer people who come with references. Um, so this new job, I mean, I was a bit skeptical if I would be taken to this role because it was more related to business intelligence, and I needed to have knowledge of SQL and all of the automation knowledge of in Excel. But the employer said that they were not. It would be difficult for them to find someone with an analysis background and then also have this knowledge of BI tools. So they were willing to train me on the road. So what I wanted to say is that even though the job description like doesn't even 100% satisfy the qualifications that you have, if you have a good approach, if you have clarity in your subjects, if you have enough experience in your hand, the company is able to the companies are willing to train you and get you to the job because they're looking for good employees all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Now, let's go into a bit more detail, Karthik. So, what were the tips that you saw, or like things that you saw were working for you well when you were essentially like, also looking for jobs in India? Because you told me like you got so many like responses that you were being considered for interviews. So, what kind of platforms are you taking a look at, and what kind of things you saw was working for you?
So to start with, I started working on my resume and the cover letters. So the resume looks different here in Europe than what it is in India. So I started researching about that. So you need to have a photo and the details like your religion or your father's name or your address doesn't really matter. But it should be really precise. And I started working like taking time to build my own resume, and also the cover letters. It needs to have information which is not everything in your resume, but then it should mention something about the company as well and how you are relevant for the job. It gives out a sense of motivation. So I think I was writing because I was writing cover letters, different cover letters for each and every company I was applying, and I think that worked really well. And second thing is in the commerce field, at least I know that the names of the designations are really different. If somebody is looking for an accountant, it could be financial accountant, accounting specialist, or if the role is for financial analysis, it could be financial analyst, data analyst, controller, and there are a variety of names that one should search for, and that was something I was doing as well.
And then afterwards, like when you came to Germany, the interviews, so can you like give us a bit more details about like how the interviews went, what kind of questions were asked and so
on? So the first round of interview usually happens with the HR. They try to get the background information to understand if you're really qualified for the job, if they can forward the resume to further into the processes. They ask you salary expectations sometimes in the beginning, in the first call itself. They ask you about the knowledge you have in relevance to the job description. And then a first interview is set up, and an official interview is set up with the hiring manager. Usually the hiring manager will be the person who you will be working with, and so that person is more interested to take the first round of interview. And usually the first round of interview lasts about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And it's less technical and more understanding about how you fit into the role, what experience you have, and culturally if you are able to get an understanding how the company works, and if you have some knowledge what's motivating you to apply for the job in the first place. And these are the things that they look for in the first round. And then there is a technical round, which would go on for me. It was about 5 to 6 hours. I mean, there are many people with the hiring manager, the team, and the head of the department as well, and sometimes even CFOs or CEOs also in the last round. So usually the rounds of interviews are from 3 to 4. And the last round is pretty much of understanding you, apart from the job, what are your hobbies or how you are as a person. So that comes in the last, and in the beginning it's all about what you can bring to the company.
That makes sense. Any kind of tips or advices, Karthik, you would have for the people who are heading into the job search for Germany? What kind of things they should watch out for?
Sure. So the first thing I would say is to learn German. That's definitely a must do, because even though on LinkedIn, on Stepstone, there are many English jobs, we are missing out on about 90% of the openings, and we are just concentrating on 10% jobs. And there's a lot of competition as well. There are many people from the West. There are many people who are graduating from German universities who are in competition for the role. So learn German is the first step. The second tip is to start networking even before coming to Germany on LinkedIn platforms like LinkedIn and Xing. Prepare professional, make your profile more professional, give information about what you can offer, and start connecting with people who are in different sectors. And usually try to search for people who are managers or hiring managers. And also when you search for a job, try to go to the company page and see who are people who are working in that team, and try to connect with them. And of course, have good resume and a cover letter. Always write a cover letter in relevance to the company. Don't make a standard format and just copy paste it everywhere. That really doesn't work. It should always have, so when you're writing a cover letter, go to the company website, see what their objective is, what their achievements were, what their product is, and before going to the interview, research about the product. If it's a website, learn about the website, go to the website, make some searches, see how it looks like, what it feels like, because they're going to ask the questions about how you like the product or what you could see to improve it, or something like that. Yeah, I think, and also try to improve your communication skills, because we are coming from a different culture. It becomes even more important to improve your communication skills, because there is clarity, there should be clarity, and you should be able to express yourself very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think not focusing on English itself, like that's like such a big mistake that many people do. And I think that's a big mistake. Like German is of course like a nice next thing, but I think if English is bad, then of course like things don't really work out that well.
And I did ask my manager why I got hired, and they said because I was enthusiastic and I was really clear in my communication, and I spoke only those things that were really relevant. So I think that could be one takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good. Thank you so much for taking out the time, Karthik. It was very nice catching up with you and learning about all of these things. And anybody else who is watching this video, if you have any questions, just write in the comment section below. And I will also link some free resources and stuff that you can download directly from the description. See you in the next one.
Thank you so much, Bharat.